So we finally just got the first trailer for A Quiet Place Day 1. This is a horror movie I've been greatly anticipating because they've made two awesome Quiet Place movies, but admittedly, this is more of a spin-off film and not exactly a sequel or prequel. I'll be breaking down the trailer along with all the information you need to know, along with my reaction and how I'm feeling on this, but I also want to definitely hear from you guys. You have now seen the trailer for A Quiet Place Day 1. Did it match to what you were expecting in here? Are you disappointed with it? Along with your predictions and theories on how this connects the universe together. Alright, so yes, we had heard mumblings that we would be getting a Quiet Place Day 1 trailer come Super Bowl time. And that still seems to be the plan, but as happens lately now, every Super Bowl, they release these trailers early online because it's like, yeah, we're still going to show it at the Super Bowl. It's still going to be seen by millions of people, so why not just release it ahead of time to get those early eyeballs? But you can bet the Super Bowl spot will be probably a 30-second condensed down version. But like with most Super Bowl trailers, it'll have a sting at the end where it says full trailer online now, and this is that full trailer. Now, the other thing I got to mention, because I was seeing actually a lot of confused people online, is yes, this is a prequel taking us back to day one. That's what they set up at the beginning of this trailer. I know they showed us a hint of what day one looked like in the opening of A Quiet Place Part 2, but that was only a 15-minute segment, and it was also in a small town. This time around, it's taking place in a big city like New York, and it's also not following the same family from the last two movies. And that kind of makes sense. This is the first Quiet Place movie that isn't directed by John Krasinski. However, there is a character in here that connects him to that family, and we're gonna get into all that here. Now, I did quickly want to take a look at the poster they released for this movie, and I gotta be honest with you guys, while the trailer is hands down awesome, I am not feeling this poster. Something about the vibe of this poster is giving Netflix documentary, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a Quiet Place poster. Lupita Nyong'o is definitely looking terrified, and you do see the New York buildings and then the aliens coming off in the background, but I don't know, just wasn't really feeling this poster. Maybe some of you will think differently, but I felt like they could have done something different. But okay, with that now explained, let's go into the opening of this trailer with Lupita Nyong'o, who's walking down the streets. Her character's name is said to be Sam, and I am already seeing tons of comments about people wondering, is the cat going to survive this movie? You know what? I think a cat has a better chance of surviving than a dog does. Dogs are yappy creatures. I got 4 of them. And cats, I feel, are a little light and more quiet. So unless this thing is meow crazy, I'm thinking it's gonna survive the movie. But it's that shot of seeing the aliens come down, crash land on Earth, and then just start ravaging a super populated and noisy area. It's a huge contrast from what we've gotten in the last 2 movies. You know, because the Abbott family from the original movies, they were built to survive this event. They had a deaf daughter, so they already knew how to talk to each other through sign language. They lived out in a farm filled with open, quiet areas. This is definitely an exciting turn for A Quiet Place, because yeah, I want to know what it was like for the more populated, noisy, crazy cities, and New York is the perfect example for that. I gotta admit, I'm even surprised with the scale of this movie, because if you look back at the first 2 Quiet Place films, they were kind of smaller horror movies, you know, in the farm town, one family, we're following their journey, we'd see maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 monsters pop up throughout the entire film. Here, I mean, you just see the scope of the city, the amount of people there, all these different aliens. This is a much bigger movie, but I am digging the direction. Now, looking at the other characters that we'll be meeting in this movie, aside from Lupita Nyong'o, is we have Joseph Quinn in here, coming from Stranger Things fame. I know a lot of people are excited to see what he's like in this movie. There's rumors his character is said to be very whiny, so hopefully he doesn't end up being unlikable, but it's always a common trope within these group of strangers. There is one that overreacts, is freaky, and is just pissed off everything's happening. Who wouldn't be? Someone that wasn't really shown off in the trailer other than looks like maybe his back was Alex Wolff. Some of you might know him from the Naked Brothers band. But he's set to play Ruben, and he's a nurse at a hospital. He might very well be this person right here. But the most intriguing character that connects this Quiet Place universe together is Dejimon Hounsou. He was a character that showed up in the second Quiet Place movie, only commonly known as Man from the Island. He teamed up with Cillian Murphy's character, and well, I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't caught up with A Quiet Place, but we see where his fate ends up in those movies, and this will be the start of his journey. Seeing that the Quiet Place movies take place after day 400, it's a pretty much safe bet that he's a survivalist, that he's gonna be the main one making sure this group gets through New York City, and probably has this movie end with them headed towards the island of the second film, where it's just a community of people who have been surviving. Another funny thing I like to bring up, though, is I always get these comments, and it's so funny to me. It's the moments in the trailer when it's early on in the invasion, whether it was the opening scene of the second movie or now this movie, where they're having their mouths closed and they're telling each other to be quiet. Always people commenting, how do they know how to do that? Why would they already know to do that? I'm like, use your common sense. It's a monster coming after you. I think all of us know, be quiet. It's not a slip up from the movie where they're like, oh, they already know how these monsters work. Everybody would just be quiet if there's a monster lurking around on the outside. And well, since this trailer also makes it very obvious that we're getting so many more of these Quiet Place monsters, I don't think there's really going to be a situation where they try and figure out how to kill them. I am curious in this movie if they can figure out the weakness or how they work, play a little bit more into how to avoid these aliens. We do get shots of the military getting involved, and I'm assuming maybe that's where our characters are headed, is a military base for safety. That's where I've also seen a lot of people bring up Cloverfield vibes, because that was a very similar plot in the first Cloverfield movie. But I guess the thing I most want to know is if this movie can somehow give us a little bit more details and explanation to these monsters, because they're still a mystery. And not that I want the whole mystery unsolved, but since we know they come from aliens, did our government know they were coming? Have they landed before? Who is behind this invasion? And are the aliens behind the invasion even smarter? And this is just kind of like the monsters they throw in there? Would that even be an interesting journey to take us into the Quiet Place universe? Introducing like more intelligent beings that created these Quiet Place ones to like exterminate this planet? Or would that then be taking it too far and into sci-fi territory? Because, you know, we were just talking about how like the Jurassic World series is looking to hire an action director, David Leitch, and keep those movies in the action section. When I think A Quiet Place is a perfect example how you have plenty of action sequences, explosions, things going up, but the vibe is completely frightening and scary the entire time. Would then diving deeper into these aliens' backstories, where they come from, who's behind it, would then that start turning this franchise into something else and more into the sci-fi territory? And that's where I'm torn on it, because it's like, yeah, I would like to know more about these and all that kind of stuff, but then it could turn the franchise into something it's not. The other question that people are asking, though, does that mean we're not getting A Quiet Place 3? A direct sequel to the first two movies and continuing to follow the Abbott family wherever they are in the future? I believe that is still in the works and they still want to go ahead and do that, but I don't mind them taking this detour and maybe focusing on this franchise a little bit, give us 1 or 2 movies here and then give us a third one, or heck, maybe like a crossover movie where the characters we follow here, we see them far into the future meeting the Abbott family. That could be exciting and be a good way to like end the series off. Overall, though, super exciting. I am really looking forward to this movie. I cannot wait to see this invasion go down. This is now where I throw it off to you guys. The first trailer for A Quiet Place Day 1. Are you on board or are you being silent? That didn't make sense, but just go with it.